Oh, yes. Happy Tuesday and welcome into Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratenuto at Diablo00 on Twitter is where you can find me. Yes, also find the show and find wonderful nuggets, news, notes, and nuggets from around Sun Devil Nation as I do here on Pitchfork Lunch. Monday through Friday, 12 to 1 p.m. A little bit of a late start today. Got out of practice a teeny bit late. But nonetheless, we are rolling. You can also check it out on Facebook, yes, and YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Guys, subscribe. As if you missed interviews, you missed shows. You missed shows and you've missed a ton of interviews. Just again, you can subscribe, you can check it out, and it's one of those things where you'll be all caught up. And again, you'll meet some, just coaches, players that, I've been lucky enough to talk to. But yeah, I mean, subscribe, all that good stuff, share. But yes, you have quite a few interviews, a ton of interviews to catch up on. So that being said, but that's at MVC005 on YouTube. So again, just go check it out. Why not? So today, again, it's Territorial Cup week, rivalry week in football, better known on campus around ASU as Hate Week. For that school down south, the only time I really use that word, but for that school down south, which might be just a wee bit justified. And was out at practice today. Again, only availability again with Thanksgiving and stuff. But yeah, practice was out there today and got to hear from Coach Dillingham and Coach Ward as well, and a little bit from Jalen Conyers. And their thoughts, obviously, kind of wrapping up last week, wrapping up the season. Coach Dillingham said yesterday in his presser that this week is a season in and of itself. And yeah, I mean, he did say that yesterday. I'm kind of mentioned it a little bit again today, but yeah, it's a it's a always a I mean, intense week, just a very passionate week is the word. Not that the intensity is not there, but passionate week, especially, on campus, even though it is Thanksgiving, a short week of classes. But nonetheless, this game does mean a lot. And like I said, yeah, it does mean a lot to, again, many people. And on campus, though, it's just even, last week, obviously, with Oregon being here, but leading up to this week, it's I've always loved, and yes, records aside, you'd want both teams to be, vying for something, but obviously the team down south is, and yes, we just have to call that as it is. They've played well enough to win some games this year, and they've recently, obviously, just beat up on Utah. And so to me, it's one of those things where, I mean, the energy you get from, campus, and again, it's not like a full week, so players aren't classes, but I mean, again, the game is on Saturday, but Wednesday is the last day of class. It's college. A lot of kids, a lot of students, if they're leaving town, stuff like that, they'll leave after today. So, that's, but it doesn't matter the electricity, from these days on campus, and then what it means to the, obviously what it means to the rivalry, players, some obviously playing in their first time in it. And Coach Dillingham talked yesterday about how he showed them, a little bit of film of the history of this of what this rivalry means. And it's yeah, like I said, there's been quite a few times that, both teams are good. And then there's been also the struggles and times that only, one team is good and playing for something, and other times where both teams haven't had the season they wanted, and that's where it's at. But yes, it is. And like I said, the team down south, they have a chance to play themselves into the Pac-12 championship game against the Huskies. The Huskies, with their win, they're hanging on to beat Oregon State last week. They go into the Apple Cup 8-0, but they already clinched. No matter what happens, they are in the Pac-12 championship game, the number 5 team in the country, as the new college football rankings will come out this evening with the terrible injury. And again, just prayers and as speedy and as healthy as a recovery possible to Travis Scott of Florida State. Jordan Travis. I say Travis Scott. Who is that? I don't know. Sorry. Jordan Travis had just a terrible, terrible leg injury. So I know the Seminoles went on to win as they get set for Florida this week. They remain undefeated, so we'll see what that does to them in the rankings, losing their quarterback. But I'm sorry, you win, you take care of business, you have the defense that they've had. And I said top to bottom as a team, yes, Jordan Travis, a huge part of that, to overstate the obvious there. But yeah, so we'll see. Washington at 5 right now in the college football playoffs. And again, headed to the Pac-12 championship game. Oregon at number 6. If Oregon beats Oregon State on Friday at home in Eugene, then there's a rematch with Washington. Now, if Oregon State beats Oregon, which definitely very well could happen, if the Beavers win that game, then the fate of the other half of the Pac-12 championship lies on the Territorial Cup, ASU U of A. And if Oregon State wins and then Arizona wins, Arizona would be playing Washington in the Pac-12 championship. Jed Fish in his 3rd season. Again, transfer portal, yes, things can turn around, but having an injury to Delora at QB and then bringing in Fafita, and this redshirt freshman has played. I mean, Coach Dillingham talked about it yesterday, which tomorrow I'll play actually some of Monday's presser for you. We want to hear from practice today because obviously it's not just, a Monday thing. It stands, but he talks about Fafita and what he's done. And I mean, just again, another week. I mean, you look at ASU's schedule, and, they started out with Caleb Williams, conference opener, right? Caleb Williams. And then, so Cal, like I said, talked about, they had 3 quarterbacks, all who are good, but Cal 3 quarterbacks. So you go from that to Shedeur Sanders, to Michael Penix Jr., to Cam Ward. And then Utah with Barnes. I mean, obviously he's been starting the whole season, and he's gotten he's played well, Barnes. And then you get UCLA, and then you get Bo Nix, and now you have Fafita. So it's just like I said, every week preparing for the gauntlet of quarterbacks that are in this league. And like I said, top to bottom, the best quarterback conference in the nation. The only team, by the way, real quick in the pack, it's just a little different. Cal's closing out with UCLA. Obviously, UCLA beat USC in the Battle of Los Angeles last week. Cal closes out with them because they played Stanford last week and won, but Stanford closes out with Notre Dame, and they are home. The Fighting Irish coming there to play Stanford. So, but yeah, for ASU U of A, again, rivalry week, and it means a lot to that team down south, and nothing better. I mean, nothing better. Obviously, than to beat that team. And even, like I said, if they have a chance, I mean, that would actually be the fun part, that Oregon State beats Oregon and then ASU turns around and beats Arizona, knowing they had a chance to go to that game. Wow. Okay, so in the AP top 25, Ohio State somehow still ahead of Michigan, who dropped one spot because Maryland's a better team than Maryland is a better team. Again, not that I watch every down, but they've played better all year than Minnesota. So Maryland makes it close against Michigan, and the AP drops Michigan one spot, as does the coaches poll, which is pathetic because Ohio State's not better. I mean, defense, maybe they could hang around, but yeah, I think Washington will put up mad points on them. I know Michigan's going to steamroll them. So hopefully the college football playoff committee doesn't but we'll see. I mean, again, it's a committee, and Ohio State's getting way too much credit for. Credit to beat Notre Dame. That's fine because Notre Dame's, I mean, APY 17th in the country. They're 8-3, but and they're 17th in the country. Not 18th, sorry, 17th in the country, and they're 8-3. Actually, Arizona in the AP poll went up to 16. They're up 3 spots. Oregon State is down 5 after losing to Washington, but they're still above Arizona, both 8-3. But you look at Pac-12 wise, you have Washington at 4 in the AP, Oregon at 6, Oregon State at 15, Arizona at 16, and yes, that is that. Utah, again, with that loss, fell out. USC fell out. UCLA, even after UCLA got 1 vote to get back in. But yeah, I mean, if UCLA were to beat Cal this weekend, chances are they could finish in the AP top 25. But anyway, I digress. Back to the Territorial Cup, which is huge. It is hate week. Having been a part of this game, I mean, as a student, having games here, going down to Tucson for games, it's just, parading the streets with roses in Tucson, and people, sit there and say, oh, you've only been to 2 Rose Bowls, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's 2 more than you were the whole existence of the Pac-10 and 12. And you never went. So, yeah, it's not a sad thing. Pitchfork Lunchers, right? Am I right? Not a sad thing. Hit me up on Twitter. Drop a line here in the comments. As well. And, it's it's again, like I said, never sad to see them lose. That I can definitely tell you. But yeah, it's like I said, being around a campus, the events that went on Thanksgiving week. I mean, usually the game being played on Friday, which, I mean, again, an extra day of prep, recovery / prep. I mean, not a bad thing, but yeah, it's like I said, it's huge. And I um so it being huge, yes, ruining their season even better. The atmosphere down there and in Tempe, what it'll be on Saturday. Obviously, people coming off of Thanksgiving, and yeah, they're thankful for their family and unless part of their family. And then on Saturday, if you're a house divided or anything, then guess what? Forks up all day. You know it's pitchfork lunch. Um, um, and yeah, and volleyball has it too. Volleyball will be down there on Saturday as the football game is up here in Tempe at 1:30 on ESPN again. And the battle for the Territorial Cup, that team down south snapped a 5-game losing streak last year and won it. And now it's time to come up here and get some revenge. And yeah, they have to definitely stick to their game plan. And um, you stick to your game plan again. Your play defense and that team down south's defense has played a lot better this season than they did last year, and we've seen what ASU's defense has done in spurts. But yeah, to me, it's one of those things where when you look at it, yeah, just looking at it, defensively, again, it'll be an interesting chess match. But like I said, very stoked. Fast forwarding, like I said, to volleyball, they are down. They play Washington State tomorrow in Pullman, as Arizona actually plays the Huskies up in Seattle. So, and then both teams come back and they will play Saturday down in Tucson, last game of the regular season. And the Devils, yes, they will be playing in the postseason. We'll just have to find out if they get a chance to host, if they're a seed, if they were to beat Washington State, beat Arizona. I mean, there would be there's a chance. There's definitely a chance. But we'll see where they're at, where they'll be at. And and if they beat Washington State, like I mentioned yesterday, I was talking to Jeff Metcalf, longtime, obviously, reporter. It's covered all sports, but I mean, focused on Olympic sports, at ASU, and now covering the conference still. And he was saying, I mean, this would be, if they beat Washington State, they would have beaten every team in the pack this year, 25-5 overall. I mean, 13-5 in conference play. Yeah, 13-5 in conference play, 25-5 overall. a chance again to get 27 victories, but it is going to be tough. They are taking on Washington State on the road, and this will be the first time that they've seen them this year. So, yes, if they can beat Washington State on the road and then turn around and go down to Tucson and take care of business and beat up that team down south like they did when they opened up conference play, telling you right now, it is they would have beaten every team in the Pac-12. Well, they already beat Arizona, but they would beat every team in the Pac-12, and we'll see if they would be a top 16 seed, which I think they very well should be. They very much so earned it, and it started in the beginning of the season. Obviously, non-conference play. I've mentioned it a million times. I know you Pitchfork Lunch fans know that on the road, but yeah, one of my favorites is how they were favorite things from the season is just, again, doing that, coming home, opening up, starting off fast against Arizona and Washington. And then, I mean, again, just beating USC and UCLA here, beating Colorado and Utah here, beating Stanford here, beating Cal here. Yes, their only losses to Oregon at home, but to the number 6 team in the country. And when they were number 5, you went up there on their home court and swept them in 3. It took them 4 sets to beat you here. And outside of the first set, I mean, yes, they won the third, but the second and fourth set definitely could have went either way. So, again, Marta Levinska was a Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Week last week. She – we talked to her on the show, and when she got the AVCA National Player of the Week, it was one of those things where I talked about, and I was like, hey, it's one of those things where, yes, it is a team thing. She's putting up the numbers, and I mean, even against Oregon State, may have not had her best hitting night, but still led the team with 18 kills. But the team, just in general, the way they played, the way they bounced back from that, again, tough 4-set loss to Oregon. They're only blemish at home this year. And and by the way, because the rankings are out for volleyball. They split and they stayed in the same spot. They stayed at 18, 25, and 5. I mean, it is Oregon. I mean, it is a number 6 team in the country. So they stayed at 6 and they swept the weekend. Stanford's still at 2. Nebraska's at 1. They're 27-0. Stanford stayed at 2. Pitt moved up to 3, and they were at 7. Texas is at 4, up from 5. Wisconsin's at 5, down from 3. Oregon stayed at 6. Louisville is at 7, and they were at 4. Tennessee stayed at 8. Arkansas is at 9. They moved up 1 spot from 10. Kentucky is at 10. They moved to 2 spots at 12. Washington State got leapfrogged by Kentucky, which, again, 22-7. Kentucky 17-7, but Washington State stayed at 11. Oh, wow. Yeah. Pretty annoying, to say the least. USC stayed at 24. Well, ASU, like I said, they stayed at 18. They split 25-5. Again, they sweep. If they beat Washington State and Arizona, they like BYU, they're 22-6, had a good year. Kansas is 21-5. They were at 17. They moved up 2 spots. They're at 15. So they should be jumping right there. I know you can say it depends what happens, but you go up to – you beat the 11th ranked team in the country, and then you turn around and beat your rivals, and you've beaten every team in this conference, including Stanford. But they're at 18. So, Pac's got Stanford at 2, Oregon at 6, Washington State at 11, ASU at 18, and SC at 24. So that's that. Well, I'm going to take a break. When we get back, we'll hear from Coach Dillingham, Coach Ward, Jalen Conyers from out at practice today. Again, first day on the field of getting ready for the Territorial Cup. But, again, they've been getting ready for this since the spring because, like I said, it is hate week. And nothing better in the regular season than, smacking the kitty cats around. So 70-7, just got to say, one of my most favorites. But we'll step aside, and more coming up here on Pitchfork Lunch. Welcome back to Pitchfork Lunch. Yes, I am Michael Caratino at Diablo00 is where you can find me on Twitter. And hey, you can watch the show live. You can watch the show on Facebook and the YouTube. If you've missed any shows, subscribe to my YouTube at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. And like I say, Pitchfork Lunchers every day. Subscribe. And I got to add, hey, tell your friends. Have them subscribe to the channel. Again, interviews. We got Charlie Turner Thorne. She will be on with me tomorrow, 12:05, actually, to start the show. So Charlie Turner Thorne will be with me. And again, she's had such a great career. She played for Tara Vonderveer, obviously the legendary head coach of Stanford, coached at ASU for over 20 years. And over 500 victories at ASU. Just a gem to talk to, and what she was able to do. The program she was able to build, the culture, the tradition, and definitely want to get her thoughts on Hate Week as well too. Again, there's always Territorial Cup points, obviously twice in hoops. 2 times here in volleyball, as we see baseball as well, softball, same thing. So it's beach volleyball, swimming, you name it. Yes, there is multiple times per year, and we want to just demolish the little cats in Territorial Cup points. So, but yeah, no, football wise, like I said, out of practice today. And again, it is very nice weather, very opposite from what they started in. But Coach Dillingham, again, after practice today and just getting ready for rivalry week and what it means to him, obviously being part, a grad assistant, but being a native, and just thinking of, this rivalry and stuff. And yeah, energy definitely there, but you can hear it from him. But yeah, just again, a lot going on, and in getting ready for this week. But the other balance of, yes, they're focused on a game plan, and talking about passion and emotion, and Jalen Conyers gets to that too. So we'll hear from him. But without further ado, here is Sun Devil head coach Kenny Dillingham from today's practice.
Hi. So you said this is a season unto itself. So how did the first practice go?
Yeah, I mean, energy was good. I thought we bounced around. Detail, not quite as good. So we got to clean things up tomorrow. Be detail oriented, get some of the crap cleaned up. But I thought the energy and the bounce was good, which it should be. I mean, if it's not for this week, then we got more problems than just winning a football game.
You've done plenty of alternate things offensively or trick types of things, but how much more can be injected into a game like this where that commonly happens?
Yeah, I think it's the last game of the year, so you pull out all the stops, pull out everything you got, right? So anything you've done all year, right? You pull back, you maybe grab back, things that you've done from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 4 to week 5 to week 6, all the way out, but you put them all together, and you put together the best way to create explosive plays.
And I know you said game of the year for
100%. I mean, it's the game. It's its own season. So this is the game that people remember. People remember people who win Rose Bowls, and they remember the teams that beat U of A. Very simple. All the other stuff is just kind of for naught. Can you tell me all the 9-win teams here? No. Can you tell me all the 8-win teams here? No. The 10-win teams here? No. But you can tell me the greatest moments in this rivalry game.
So what will it mean if you beat them?
Yeah, it means it's a justification of the direction we're going. And either way, we're going in the right direction as a program.
How about Rashad?
Yeah, he's getting better. He's looking better this week. So we'll see how it progresses throughout the week.
You said yesterday in prep, obviously, how far down a rabbit hole do you want to go? But on the opposite side, prepping for you, like I said, with all you've had to do this year, how big of a challenge do you feel it is for them to prep for you guys?
Yeah, it's difficult schematically, but that's not a good thing. When you don't have an identity, that's more of a flaw than a strength, right? You want to be a team that creates it. Okay, we're going to run these plays, but how are they going to run those plays? In so many different ways, shapes, and forms, right, that you can't prepare your guys for those looks. You don't want to be a team, like we've been this year, that's had to kind of run a variety of schemes based off of circumstances. That's not, so yes, is it hard to prepare for? Yes. Is it what you want to be? Heck no. Right, this will be the only year we are like that, right? So moving forward, you'll see a lot more consistency in terms of what we are.
And then I know you said yesterday we'll see how it goes, but DeCarlo's trending in the right way?
Yeah, DeCarlos will play this week, so he's back, which is good. We'll see about Prince. Prince is trending back, which would be nice if we could get him back. Jaden's been cleared for a few weeks. It's just getting him back is the challenge. So we're just seeing where he's at there, because we're not going to put him on the field unless I feel like he's 100% and can go perform.
Chris Ball was a guy that was on the staff when you were, coming up. Just what was your reaction to news that he's not going to be with NAU anymore?
Man, it sucks. He's a great person. Coach Ball I was with Coach Ball here. I was with Coach Ball when I was the offense coordinator in Memphis. He was the defense coordinator there when we were, competing for championships over there and having a lot of success back-to-back 10-win years. And, it's unfortunate to see him in that scenario, him and his family. Got an unbelievable family. So one of the best people in the profession. So I learned a lot from him, just in terms of being yourself and being genuine. So a lot of respect to him, and it's an unfortunate, sad day. Go Devils!
Well, you heard him right there again, and it is. Obviously being pitchfork lunch talking about this rivalry week, but yeah, NAU head coach Chris Ball, who done a good job up there, but struggles a little bit lately, and unfortunately he got let go. But again, this coaching community is, people say, gosh, it's so huge, but yet it's so small. Connecting dots of guys who have worked with certain guys and on staffs. Dan Lanning Sudo mentioned it last week, but you heard it in Coach Dillingham's when I played his sound from practice last week. But he was he was on the staff here years ago. And it's, you look at guy, I mean, Dan Lanning was here, and then obviously, you gotta move around, you gotta go, you have aspirations to become, obviously a coordinator, like he was defense coordinator, a head coach. And it's one of those things where, but you develop relationships, and who worked with who, and they call it a good old boy network, but that's because no matter at some point, like, you could be like, oh, hey, I'm, might have this opportunity here. Oh, let me call coach, so-and-so for you. But yeah, Coach Dillingham, touching on that. And like I said, it is a bummer, but Chris Ball, a very good football coach. Again, got off to a pretty fast start at NAU, and then just kind of hit some speed bumps. It was tough in the Mountain West, but yeah, you heard him there. I mean, DeCarlos Brooks back this week, and I asked him, I say, is it's because when he said yesterday, it being tough to prep for, going back to even before they played UCLA, and saying that, Chip Kelly being an innovator, like, yes, you can run a certain play, but how many formations are you running it out of? Because again, for keys, if you see a certain formation or a guideline episode, you're thinking, oh, okay, this play. And again, not that you might, lean that way, take a step. That's all they need is, half a step one way, setting up, a step or two outside or inside, either way. But just the creativity to run the plays, but just out of the different sets and the creativity there. But for Coach Dillingham, like you said, I mean, it has been tough, and they had, yes, the swinging gate is one thing that against UCLA it worked. They got the victory, and yeah, they tried, they ran some of it against Oregon. But it's to try and obviously neutralize that fast and physical defense. But yeah, I mean, I look at it, and you can't, like you said, develop that, you don't really have an identity, unfortunately, because of the mass unit that's happened. But hey, they still got to play the games. They don't just say, oh, okay, figure out getting better and then you can play your games. No, it's not obvious. To overstate the obvious is, guys, not how it works. But yeah, and DeCarlos Brooks coming back, like I said, he had the hat trick of touchdowns the last time we saw him on the field. And yeah, not a bummer at all to get that from him. Against Washington State. Yeah, against Washington State. But look, I mean, it's great to get him back. And like you said about Jaden Rashada, he's been cleared. Like we've talked about, he's been out there throwing, obviously looking good. But it's not, like Coach said, if he's not 100%, if he can't, if he can't move and play his game, there's obviously no way you're putting him on the field. So, but yeah, I mean, I just love obviously him coming back and him, coming back, from his injury and just, being out there, being around the team, which is, to me, like I said, even in healing and, as talking to coaches, I talked to Coach Natasha Adair from women's basketball, just how, in her eyes, how big is it for a player, as much as they're able to be around the team, big for their psyche and, engaged mentally and into it and constantly obviously seeing, learning and growing and helping the team with stuff you see too. So again, absolutely love it from Coach Dillingham. And then since again, we're not going to, Thanksgiving week always a little crazy, we did get to talk to Brian Ward today, the Sun Devil defensive coordinator, of course. And again, tough one against Oregon, as we know, and I talked to him about that. But, and just getting ready for, obviously, this week, their offense, their quarterback, and, the rivalry and what it means. And he's, again, a local guy, and he knows it, and he's got let's put it this way. I'll let him share, obviously, his one of his earliest memories of the Territorial Cup and what it means for ASU.
So, Coach, another fun quarterback to prepare for, right?
Yeah. They're doing a great job. Yeah, doing a great job. Very efficient offense and very efficient with their quarterback play.
Do you see anything different from them from last year to this year?
They're just running the ball a lot better. That's the biggest thing. Is their offensive line has definitely matured. They have 3 running backs that are super physical and are multi-dimensional. They can catch the football, they can run the football, they pass block. Really hard to get tendencies off those guys.
Your defense has played great in a lot of games, and then in a couple games, totally opposite. So, do you think that it's has to do with just kind of how you perform early on, and just kind of what do you think's going on with that?
There's so many factors that go into playing good or poor defense. There's a lot of factors, and I always like to say like either the call is going to get the players right, or the players are going to get the call right. And what I mean is, I can be in the wrong call and the players are just going to get it right, through effort or execution or just, a matchup and beating the guy in front of them, or the call that I'm in is just the perfect call and it's the right call for what they're doing schematically. So then sometimes it's a combination of both, and sometimes we lose in a combination of both those things. It's just one of those things. I mean, it's football teaches a lot about life. Like you learn, from your mistakes and you grow from them. And sometimes when you have success, it's learning how to handle success. That's the more difficult thing. So, yeah, it's been extreme at times. And but playing great defense and being a great football team, it's really, it has to do with all 3 phases too. I mean, it's not just. It's one of those things. So it's easy to. It's easy to look at one thing and go, hey, it's just the bottom line, but stats really don't tell the whole story. I mean, there's more to it, and like I said, I'll say it again. I mean, there's a lot that goes into a football season when you get into the 10th, 11th, and 12th week, and there's a lot of characteristic and uncharacteristic things that happen, on football teams, and it's just, it's my job to make sure that things stay in order and we can continue to move forward, and if we take a step backward, that we learn from it, so then hopefully we can take 2 steps forward in the future.
This is your first year as an Arizona State coach. Obviously, you grew up in the Valley. This farming is no stranger to you. Do you feel like maybe just a little nostalgic feeling this week preparing for this game?
I do. I definitely do, and I can feel the intensity of the rivalry, and I know a little bit about it. And my first experience of this rivalry was, unfortunately for ASU fans, it was when I was in 8th grade. I was coming back from Wickenburg in a Pop Warner game. And I was listening to the U of A Sun Devil. We were going to the Rose Bowl and listening to their safeties coach right now. Take one back, 100 yards for a touchdown. But it goes all the way back to then, and I remember that very vividly, and just know how important this game is to this state, and just really excited to be a part of it.
What does this game mean to you compared to all the other games?
Like I tell our guys, I always tell our guys every week, this is the most important game, okay, of your lives until the next one. And that's kind of our mentality every week. So it's just special to be a part of it. And this is one of those things. It's kind of like, some of the atmospheres we've coached in this year, and some of the atmospheres that I've been a part of in my career. It's better to look back on than it is to, focus and because really the process doesn't change. It's always the same process, and by the end of every week I'm running on fumes and looking forward to the game and looking to catch up on some rest, but excited about this game.
Well, it probably wasn't the season that this team had hoped for. A win this weekend means what?
I mean, it's a win. It's a way to finish the season right. It's a way to have some momentum going into the off season, and just knowing that we didn't come here for this to be easy. Okay, we're you've been around and you've coached long enough. Situations that there's going to be a lot of work to go into it. In every situation, there's a lot of work, but we don't come into this this type of situation blind, and we knew the challenges that lay ahead, and we overcame a lot of them this year, and that's what's exciting about it. But it's even more so we can learn from some of the things that didn't go right, and things that we can correct moving forward.
And it's been with that. I mean, there's been ups and downs, but just your thought. I mean, from beginning of spring until now? I mean, just the overall growth and the maturity of this defense.
Yeah, I mean, they're just a great group to work with, and when they lay it out on the line and when they're playing really hard, I mean, they're really fun to watch, and I think for the first time really all year, this last I think we got in our feelings a little bit in the first half, and we started thinking about winning or losing, and that was the first time I saw that little chink in our armor, but we got it together. We played hard in the second half, and hopefully we can carry that. I know we will, into this weekend's game. So they've been a great group, and they've really bought into what we're doing and learned from their mistakes, and we've always continued to grow. And I hope this is another opportunity this weekend.
So many of the players have never participated in this game. Kenny showed them a video about the history on Monday morning. How much do you think that trying to learn the history has the ability to carry over into a performance?
When it all comes down, it comes down to focus in one game. If our guys aren't focused on the task ahead, if they let the outside noise and some of the outside stuff affect them, it really kind of goes against what our defensive mantra is, that we're always going to be consistently good in our preparation, our process, which hopefully is going to lead to our performance. And hopefully this week is no different, and hopefully we can get back to playing the defense that I know these guys can play, and I know we can play. Appreciate it.
And that is Brian Ward here. I mean, just the way, that's why I asked him, especially from spring till now. Yes, it's learning the system, implementing the growing pains of making mistakes, speed bumps to get over. And I mean, as a unit, yes, they've had to battle through a little bit of adversity. Some players getting banged up on their side. You heard Coach Dillingham mention Prince Dorba, who again just getting more and more comfortable in the system, understanding comfortable but understanding, confident. Coach Dillingham said it when I asked him a few weeks ago, confidence with Prince. I mean, what he was able to do up front, what BJ Green, what Clayton Smith has been able to do up front. Deshaun Mallory, CJ Fight. It's just exciting to see what they can do. And they've, but an offense that has, only put up over 24 points once and over 30 once this season. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. And in college football's day and age, no matter how great your defense is, I mean, chances are you're giving up at least 21, 28, 30, 30, 33, 35 points. So but how they've played for him, and I mean, just the defensive staff, and Wally have said, I've talked about defensive line, but in the secondary with that experience. We've talked to, obviously, I've talked to Chris Edmonds, Jordan Clark, same thing, and Ro Torrance as well. So I don't know what this game definitely, like Coach said, this is a season in and of itself. And yeah, you want to be going into this playing for, going to a Pac-12 championship game, playing for winning the Pac-12 and the conference, and, having a chance to, play in the college football playoff. But make no bones about it, even though it is tough, it would be the sweetest fourth win. And that's what Coach Dillingham said. Yes, there are people that are going to, could spit out to you the times that ASU's won 10 games, won 9 games. But can you go through in your lifetime of history with this game and name, those moments? He's talking Chuck Cecil. I remember being a little kid in that one. Oh, yeah, I wasn't thrilled about that. And then, Tim Healy talked about it. I think he said it was his first, 5 or 7 games. It was the 7th or 8th rivalry game, and he finally called a victory in it. So, yeah, the rivalry has takes, ebbs and flows. There's been a lot of, obviously, rotation of years, but yeah, some like ASU, they went on a 5-game win streak before that team down south snapped it last year. So, but yeah, you hear, Coach talk about that, but yeah, the growth of the defense, what he asked them to do. And, what the staff asked them to do. And again, the buying in, seeing what this D line could be and did do. And then unfortunately losing somebody like, a Michael Matus in the Utah game, which is, again, just a bummer. And Prince Doorbell also went down in that game. But like Coach Dillingham said, trending back. So we'll see. Hopefully he, can play in this rivalry cup game, as obviously, as we know, Coach Dillingham will say, he's 100%. And, he'd be okay to go. So, but from the player perspective, a player that's played in this game that definitely knows the rivalry, and that is senior tight end Jalen Conyers, who never short on words. Obviously saw the frustration post game from Oregon, but turning it around, trying to turn it around quickly and move it into this weekend. This is so what he had to say after practice about getting ready for this rivalry game against the Cats.
The team that are going to have a big role on Saturday. I think it's just very important for them to not do anything dumb to get kicked out of this game, because once you do, I promise you, if you could have made a play, you could have done this to change a game, you're going to regret it for the rest of your life. So I think it's all about just being smart, even having like the scout team guys like poke at us today and just bother us with like being annoying, like just doing dumb things. So I think as long as you just like, hey, walk away, hey, next play, whatever, just go whoop their tail on the next play, do it in between the whistles. So I think that's the best advice I can give.
Jalen, you talk about the fans. This week is fixing known to be as Hate Week, U of A Week. Do you know how much it means to the fans to beat U of A?
Oh, yeah, everything. I mean, for the fans, it's crazy because I know fans that have talked about, hey, if you win this game, we will forget everything about the season. I'm like, oh, that's crazy. But, I mean, hey, but I respect it. But, hey, beating U of A, that means a lot. It means a lot. So for us, obviously, the fans really do deserve a win. Like, I can't stress enough. The fans have done such a great job this year, even with us struggling, and especially for the seniors and the coaches as well. They deserve to go out and get this one. So I'm excited to see what we can do. Go out there and play a really good team. U of A is a really good football team. I'll sit here and say it. They give credit where credit's due. So they're a really good team. They're coached well. Obviously, they do a lot of good things on offense and defense. That freshman quarterback's done a great job. But I think if we do what we're supposed to, we play level-headed, we can really come out on top of this one. And the whole town of Tempe is going to be quite a scene on Saturday night if we win this one for sure. Appreciate you all.
Well, you heard him pretty quick there, but yeah, advice. He said he would think back to if his in fifth grade, if whatever, if he did something, if his parents, found out, if they would whoop him. So it's hey, you know what? Whatever's going to keep, like you said, yes, you want the passion, you want to play with that passion, and again, and even Herm Edwards say that borderline, emotional, and people say, well, what's the difference between passion and emotion? There's a big difference. You let your emotions get the best of you, you can make a play like or be in a situation predicament like Jalen said there. If you get thrown out of the game or a big penalty, it changes the flow of the game. But if you get thrown out, you could have made a play or you could have done something, the regret definitely is there. And like you said, you got to give credit where credit is due. They are a good team this year. They've, again, I think maybe for people in the pack that weren't ready, surprised a few along the way. Looking at their, when you look at, how their schedule just in general this year, and, you go out of conference. Yes, they beat NAU 38-3. They went to Starkville and played Mississippi State and lost 31-24 in overtime. Powerful SEC, blah, blah, blah. It was a loss. Then turn around and beat UTEP. They struggled against Stanford, but first conference game, it was 21-20. They held on, or Washington, I think they scored late against Washington, but nonetheless, Washington beat them 31-24 in Tucson. Then they lost in overtime to USC 43-41, I think in double overtime. And then they turn around, and this is where, again, they lost, but then they started this run. They smashed Washington State in Wazoo 44-6. And that, like I said, that opened a lot of eyes there. Then they held on at home to barely beat Oregon State, who's still ranked above them, 27-24. And then they turn around and beat UCLA 27-10. They beat Colorado on a late field goal, 34-31. And then they trashed Utah last week, 42-18. I mean, it was 21-0 in the first quarter. Yeah, it's that's where that team's at. And now they take on the Sun Devils in Tempe. Their records are polar opposites of each other. Arizona 8-3, ASU 3-8. But I mean, they need to finish 8-4 and 4-8, right? Pitchfork Lunch Nation. I mean, come on, work with me here on that. So yeah, I mean, that's again, absolutely huge. But you heard it. I mean, like I said, Jalen Conyers talking right there. And again, we'll hear a little bit more from Kenny Dillingham tomorrow. We'll also hear from Charlie Turner-Thorne. She will be joining me tomorrow. So again, I will put it out there, but you need to, again, jump on tomorrow, obviously Wednesday, pre-Thanksgiving, all that good stuff. So jump on tomorrow. But yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, a little more, obviously, football preview. Like I said, volleyball taking on Washington State. We'll talk more. I'll talk more about that tomorrow as they go up to Pullman to take on the number 11 Cougs. And yes, build off the momentum from that 4-set victory over Oregon State and just the momentum they've built all season long. 25-5. Again, 25-5. Phenomenal. So looking to go 27-5, baby. I'm all for it. It's Thanksgiving weekend. Thankful for Coach Van Neal coming in and again just pulling the right strings of this very, very talented team. So again, I'm gonna get out of here though. Again, everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, as it's so well known everywhere. But I will say this: It is a Tuesday, and we are one day closer. So yes, start developing it, and just the ramp up for that game on Saturday here in Tempe, 1:30 kickoff. Again, if you don't have tickets, get on out there for this game. It is well worth it. It is a great way to spend your Saturday, and you don't have to worry about it interrupting Black Friday for people. But again, this game should be up Friday, but whatever, neither here nor there. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Yes, it is hate week, as we say. And I will share another few fun memories. Hey, hit me up on Twitter at Diablo00 for any fun memories or your memories of this rivalry football. If you have them, if you want to, again, hit me up at Diablo00. You know where it's at. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's at M as in Michael, V as in Victory, C as in Cat 005 at MVC005 on YouTube. Subscribe. All right, I am out. Everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. I will see you tomorrow. And yes, as always, Sun Devil Nation, you know it. Forks up.
Terry's three. Johnny Walker. Action up against control. His shot. Bruce score. They score. They tie the game up 2-2. Some drives out for Robbie Ryan. Her three right on the money. This is Taya Hansen for three. Other side of the rim with a pretty reverse. Wow. 5 seconds to go. Find Hawk. Hawk spins. It rolls off. And Arizona State wins it. Edwards pulls off and buries the front. Daniels takes his shot.